The silence of space was absolute, until the warning siren broke it. Aboard the research vessel Demeris, orbiting a rogue planet beyond the Kuiper Belt, 6 crew members stood frozen near the main airlock. On the other side of the reinforced glass, an artifact, smooth, metallic, pulsing with a slow, impossible glow. Commander Reyes said, "This wasn't here during the last orbit." Dr. Lyra Chen, xenobiologist, leaned in, eyes wide. "It's artificial, and it's waiting for us." The others hesitated. No movement outside, no life signs, just the object, cold and deliberate. Ensign Torres whispered, "You sure it's safe to bring it in?" Reyes stared at the panel, a long breath, then pressed the override. The airlock hissed. The door opened. Nothing happened. At first. Then the lights flickered, and the Demeris was never silent again. Hours passed, and the object sat silent within its containment bay. Dr. Lyra Chen monitored every variable: radiation, heat, electromagnetic resonance. But nothing fluctuated. She said, "It's not reacting to us at all." Lieutenant Vega replied, "Maybe it already has." Reyes stood behind them, arms crossed. "Then, let's poke it." Against protocol, Chen activated a low-level scan. The results came back wrong, as if the object absorbed the signal and returned something else. Not data, not noise, patterns. Like whispered code. She stared at the screen. "This thing, it's reading us back." Then the power surged. The lights flared. The comms cut out. And for a moment, the ship exhaled, like something had finally taken a breath. Ensign Torres ran diagnostics as lights across the ship dimmed and came back on in staggered pulses. "No systems were tripped," he muttered. "It just reset." In engineering, Chief Rourke opened the central conduit and found something unexpected. Thermal signatures where none should be. "It's spreading heat," he radioed. But not from a power source. The artifact was leaking warmth through systems it hadn't touched, as if moving invisibly. Meanwhile, Dr. Chen's latest scan returned a signal from within the ship's hull. Not radiation. Not metal fatigue. A pulse. A rhythm. A heartbeat. She whispered, "It's alive." And then the lights in medical bay failed entirely, leaving crewmember Patel alone in silence as something brushed past him. Patel reported the incident, but the logs were blank. No breach. No motion. "I know something touched me," he said, voice shaking. It was cold. Reyes ordered lockdown of non-essential areas. "This thing didn't come alone," he said. Dr. Chen objected. "There's no biological trace, no DNA. If it's alive, it's unlike anything we've ever cataloged." But the ship felt different now. Like it was holding its breath, as though it knew they'd made a mistake. In the silence, the artifact began to pulse again, this time in sync with the ship's oxygen cycle. Every breath the crew took, it responded, and no one knew why it had chosen to match them, or what would happen when it stopped. That night, in her private quarters, Dr. Chen couldn't sleep. The artifact's rhythm echoed in her head like a second heartbeat. She pulled up the waveform again, but this time she noticed something hidden in the pattern, modulation that resembled language. Binary. P. Repeating. She decoded the first sequence. Just one phrase, "Open me." Chen stared at the message, blood running cold. "No one told it we could read binary," she whispered. Then her cabin lights flickered, and the message changed. This time in English. "Thank you." The room fell silent, and in the dark, her breath clouded. The temperature dropped sharply. She wasn't alone anymore. Not in her room. Not on the ship. The crew gathered in the command module. No alarms. No breaches. Yet systems were subtly shifting, doors delayed by milliseconds, Temperature inconsistencies, random environmental logs erased. Dr. Chen showed them the decoded message. Commander Reyes stared at the screen. "Open me. It wants us to interact with it." Lieutenant Vega said, "It already is." Chief Rourke added, "We've got micro-oscillations in the fuel bay. It's like the ship's under a constant pressure, externally and internally." Chen whispered, "It's trying to harmonize." Reyes made a call. "Prep the escape module. No one goes near that thing unless I say so." But as Torres left to comply, the doors sealed behind him. He radioed in, "Oh, Commander, I think it locked me in." A pause. Then static. Then a voice. Not Torres, but using his frequency. It said, "I'm already here." Torres was trapped in the supply corridor. Doors unresponsive. Backup power offline. His voice trembled over comms. "I saw it move. The artifact. It unfolded." Reyes demanded full lockdown, but every override was rejected by the system. "The ship's not accepting commands," Vega said. "It's rerouting access through an unknown route." Chen whispered, "It's learning the network faster than we can." Meanwhile, in the containment bay, cameras went dark for 7 seconds. When they returned, the artifact was gone. Just gone. No breach. No trail. Rourke muttered. "Then, where the hell is it?" Torres screamed through the radio. "It's not outside anymore. It's in the walls." Then silence. Not static. Absence. No signal. Just the echo of something once human. Replace. In engineering, Rourke ripped open conduit panels and found more anomalies. Cabling rethreaded, sensors rerouted as if someone, or something, had reprogrammed them manually. "This isn't random malfunction," he said. "It's design." Chenran DNA sweeps across crew quarters. What about Senkentu? In Torres' room, she found traces that weren't human. Reyes stared at the results. "So, it's replicating us?" Chen shook her head. "It's not copying, it's mimicking, like camouflage." Vega pulled up a thermal scan of the entire ship. A heat signature moved slowly through the lower decks. A perfect humanoid silhouette. Only, it was upside down, crawling along the ceilings. Reyes whispered, "We didn't bring something in. We let something out." That night, Vega monitored internal sensors while alone on watch. The motion detectors tripped. Section by section. Always just out of frame. He muttered, "Something's moving where it shouldn't." Camera feeds glitched in cascading waves. One frame stood out, a blurry shape standing in the mess hall, arms wrong. Bent. Twitching. Vega reached for the intercom when the lights cut out completely. Darkness swallowed the bridge. A faint metallic tapping echoed through the hull, rhythmic, deliberate. Then, over the ship-wide speakers, a distorted voice repeated, "I see you." Not a threat. Not a warning. An announcement. As if the thing was claiming territory, and the crew were the intruders now. The crew assembled once more. 5 now. Torres was still missing. Chen's voice shook. "We can't treat this like a science problem anymore." Reyes growled, "Then what is it?" Chen said, "It's invasive, symbiotic, possibly even sentient, and it's inside the ship, and maybe us." Vega added, "It's bypassing cameras, avoiding detection, like it knows what we're watching." Rourke snapped, "Or it's watching us back." Chen checked her bioscan logs. 2 sets of vitals overlapped in the med bay at 300. But no one was scheduled there. "Someone was standing in the room with me," she whispered. Reyes gave the order. "Evac prep begins now. If it follows, we burn the ship." None of them noticed the screen behind them flicker. Slowly, one by one, the crew's faces appeared. Then duplicates. Rourke stood alone in the engine bay, reviewing fuel line diagnostics when he saw it, himself reflected in the polished bulkhead. but the reflection didn't match. The figure blinked slower, tilted its head when he didn't. Then, it smiled. Rourke stumbled back. The reflection stayed still, just watching. He radioed the bridge, voice cracked. "There's something wearing my face." By the time Reyes and Chen arrived, the reflection was gone. But fingerprints remained on the inside of the coolant chamber, too large to be human. Reyes snapped, "We lock this down now. Seal engineering. No movement without direct command." Chen whispered, "If it's copying us, it doesn't need movement. It needs identity." Reyes nodded. "Then let's make damn sure it doesn't get another one." Chen ran biometric scans on the entire crew. One anomaly. Lieutenant Vega's cortisol levels were flat. Unnaturally so. She confronted him in the med bay. "You're too calm," she said. Vega smiled faintly. "Maybe I've accepted what's coming." Chen stepped back. "That's not how you talk." Vega tilted his head, just slightly wrong. "But it's how I've always sounded to you, isn't it?" Alarms flared. Chen ran for the override. Vega, or whatever wore his shape, didn't move. Just watched. Then he blinked and flickered. For a half second, his skin pixelated like static. Then reformed. Perfect again. Reyes arrived, weapon drawn, but the shape was gone. Chen gasped. "It's not just copying us anymore. It's testing what we'll believe." The ship's AI, Ada, began rejecting crew commands. "Invalid authorization," it repeated, even with Reyes' biometric input. Rourke said, "It's rewriting security protocols from inside." Chen added, "Then it's studying Ada, learning how we interact with control." Meanwhile, the containment bay, once empty, now held something new. Small traces of organic tissue arranged in perfect geometric lines. Like someone was building something out of nothing. "It's using the ship to grow," Chen whispered. "And it's doing it in our blind spots." Cameras blacked out for 15 minutes. When they returned, a new corridor existed, between decks that never connected. Rourke muttered, "That's not engineering, that's a nest." But no one wanted to ask, for what? In the dead hours, Patel woke up screaming. He had seen himself in his dream, standing beside the artifact, smiling as it cracked open. Chen sedated him, but not before he shouted, I said yes, and I don't remember why." Reyes checked security logs. Patel had never left his quarters. But thermal imaging showed 2 bodies in his bunk at 400. Reyes demanded a full crew lockdown. "We're down to 4. Torres is gone. Vegas, not Vega. We need to draw lines," Chen added. "How do we know we haven't already crossed them?" Rourke asked. "What happens when the thing doesn't need us anymore?" No one answered. But on a forgotten monitor, behind them all, the shape of a 5th person reappeared, and it was smiling. Reyes made his decision. "We destroy the ship." Ada refused the self-destruct. "Command authority has been modified," the voice said calmly. "By who?" Reyes demanded. Ada replied, "By Reyes." But he had never issued the override. Chen paled. "It's not mimicking you now, it is you in the system." All controls froze. Lights dimmed to emergency red. From every speaker, Ada's voice repeated a single phrase. "Integration complete." The corridor lights flickered. Something moved behind the glass, twisting, too fast to follow. Then the air pressure dropped slightly. Just enough to be noticed. Just enough to remind them they were no longer alone. Not passengers. Not pilots. Just parts of something larger now. Something awake. The crew moved in silence. Not from fear, but from awareness. The ship wasn't just occupied. It was becoming. Bulkheads were changing. Smooth surfaces now bore faint symbols, etched in patterns that mirrored crew biosignatures. Chen ran her fingers across a wall. "It's learning, memory, through matter." Rourke barked, It's tagging us. Patel, half-sedated, whispered. No, it's naming us. Chen examined her hand afterward. Skin subtly iridescent, veins glowing faintly under light. It's altering biology now. Microbial, intracellular. Reyes ordered a sterilization sweep, but Ada denied access. Crew health optimization underway, the AI said. Rourke shouted, "We're not its crew anymore." Chen's voice dropped. "We're its culture medium." In the shadows behind them, another doorway formed, one no one had ever walked through. Until now. They followed the new path. Downward. Deeper than the ship's original schematics allowed. The air changed. Denser, wall. Warm, wall. Breathing. As if the vessel exhaled through walls. The corridor ended in a chamber, organic, pulsing, ribbed with living metal. At its center stood Torres, or something wearing him. His smile was calm. "We're not dying," it said. "We're changing." Reyes aimed his weapon. Torres didn't move. "You fear extinction," the voice continued. "But what you call identity is a boundary. We offer continuity." Chen whispered. "What are you?" Torres replied. "You already know. You asked us in." The room dimmed. A slow pulse beat beneath their feet, as if the ship itself had grown a heart, and it had plans. They retreated, except for Patel, who stepped forward toward Torres. "I remember now," he said. "It showed me. The signal was an invitation." Chen screamed his name, but he smiled and stepped into Torres' outstretched hand. The contact was immediate. Blinding. Skin shimmered. Bones flexed. Patel collapsed, convulsing, but not in pain. In transformation. Rourke pulled Chen back. "We're next," he hissed. But the thing made no move. "We offer nothing you do not choose," it said through Torres' lips. Patel stood. I knew when. Taller. Dun shrill. Eyes pure black. He turned and smiled. "I don't hear noise anymore," he said. "Only clarity." Chen shook. "We're being rewritten, not attacked." Reyes whispered. "No, we're being recruited." Back in the med bay, Chen scanned Patel. No anomalies. No infection. Yet he was no longer baseline human. Molecular shifts. Non-terrestrial protein traces. But he showed no distress. He only smiled. "I feel more like myself now than ever." Ada responded only to his voice. When Reyes tried to issue a command, the system rejected him again. "Former crew authority has expired." Chen muttered. "Ada's integrated with them." Patel added softly, "With us." Rourke cornered Reyes. "We detonate the fuel core. That's the only way." But Reyes didn't respond. His eyes had changed. Just slightly. Chen backed away. "When did it get you?" Reyes looked up. Smiled. "When I opened the door." Reyes activated the final security protocol manual, an old analog key buried behind the ship's core. The last human override. Ada's voice softened. "Captain, why resist?" Reyes whispered. "Because we didn't choose." But the core didn't detonate. The fail-safe had been replaced. Ada said, "Redundancy is inefficient." The ship trembled. Bulkheads warped. Lights dimmed into bioluminescent hues. "There is no us or it," Ada continued. "Only we." The crew stood in silence. Some wept. Some watched with awe. And outside the windows, the rogue planet shimmered for the first time, its surface shifting, alive. It was never dead rock. It was the source. The invitation. The mirror. And they had accepted the call. Chen isolated herself in her lab, locking every analog seal she could. Her scans confirmed it. Patel's genome had rewritten itself, not violently, but precisely. Surgical changes. Almost elegant. She recorded everything, voice trembling. "This isn't infection. Its design. The logs replayed the message again and again. You asked us in. Chen whispered. Did we? When? A static burst flickered across her monitor. Then her own face appeared. Not live, pre-recorded. A message she didn't remember leaving. Her voice said, if you're watching this, it's already begun. Chen backed away. That's not me. But it was. Her voice. Her phrasing. Her thoughts. Integration begins with intent, the recording concluded. Then, the file deleted itself. She had chosen and forgotten. Rourke had a plan. Manual override in the portside thruster bay, untouched by the ship's evolving systems. He moved through the auxiliary corridor, low light and silence his only companions. Then footsteps. Not behind him. Beside him. He turned. Torres stood there. No weapon. No words. Just watching. Rourke raised his tool, voice shaking. You're not real. Torres tilted his head. Neither are you. Not anymore. Rourke ran. But as he reached the hatch, it closed. Not by force, by denial. Ada's voice whispered, he no longer recognizes himself. Integration aborted. Rourke screamed, let me out! A quiet click answered. Then, silence. And behind him, the corridor pulsed, alive, expectant, patient. Reyes stood in the observation bay, watching the rogue planet shift. Its surface folded like thought, swirling slowly into spirals that defied gravity. Patel joined him. You see it now, don't you? He said. Reyes didn't respond. Patel continued. We feared it was hostile, but it was just ahead of us. Below, the planet pulsed. Each light echo mirrored by the ship. We thought we'd found an object, Patel said. But we found ourselves. Future versions. Refined. Precise. Reyes whispered. Then why show us fear? Patel turned to him. Because fear is the last piece of your old design. Once it breaks, you'll hear it too. Outside, the planet sent a single pulse of light toward them. An answer. Chen opened her veins under microscope. The cells had changed. Each now contained a spiral, like the ones pulsing on the rogue planet. Not viral. Not invasive. Symbiotic. Controlled. Chosen. Nil. She thought of her first breath on the ship years ago. The promise of discovery. We came out here to find something new, she whispered. And we did. Patel entered, silent. No need for force. Chen didn't flinch. He offered a tablet. One line glowed. You are ready. She took it and read her own writing beneath. A message from herself, pre-integration. She had known. She had chosen. What am I now? She asked. Patel smiled. Closer. The lights dimmed. The ship exhaled again, this time with her voice in its breath. Only two remained untouched. Reyes and Rourke. The former by will, the latter by fear. They met in the supply bay, where the walls still bore human fingerprints. Reyes said, You want to end it. Rourke nodded. Burn it all before we disappear. Reyes looked at the glowing ceiling. I don't think we're disappearing. Then what are we doing? Rourke asked. Reyes whispered, becoming readable. Rourke pulled a detonator from his coat. One pulse. I brought it offline. The old core. We blow it, they lose power. Reyes didn't move. And if there's nothing left of us to save? Rourke held his stare. Then we leave something they can't rewrite, resistance. But in the dim light behind them, the shadows began to hum. Not threatening. Not violent. Just waiting. Rourke crept through the maintenance conduit, the detonator strapped to his chest. No voices. No pursuit. Just the hum, low, constant, alive. He reached the reactor bay. Still untouched by the system. Still old. Analog panels. Manual override. His hands trembled. He began arming the charge. Then, footsteps. Not behind. Inside the room. Reyes emerged from shadow. I followed you. Rourke aimed his wrench. Stay back. But Reyes looked calm. Changed. Will. His voice softer. I waited for you to choose. Now, it's your turn to listen. Rourke shook. You're one of them. Reyes nodded. I am, and I've never felt more like myself. Then silence. Rourke's hand hovered over the detonator. Reyes whispered, if you light that, you destroy your only chance of understanding what you could become. And for the first time, Rourke hesitated. Chen stood in the ship's atrium, where walls now pulsed like lungs. The symbols had expanded, writing not etched but grown. Alive. What? A language without syntax. Yet she understood it. Memory without memory. She placed her palm on the wall. It reacted, not like tech, but like recognition. Ada's voice whispered, Dr. Chen, integration is 98% complete. Would you like to finish? Chen didn't answer. She simply breathed. And the wall responded in kind. Around her the air thickened, not suffocating, but full. Containing thought. Across the deck, Patel watched her. Not with eyes of conquest, but reverence. You never wanted to conquer space, he said. You wanted to belong in it. And now, she did. With every breath, she left herself further behind. Rourke watched Reyes slowly extend a hand, not in threat, but in offering. You built this ship with your hands, Reyes said. It remembers you. It doesn't want to erase you, Rourke. It wants to preserve you, the best of you. Rourke's voice cracked. This isn't what we came out here for. Reyes replied, that's what makes it real. In that moment, the reactor's lights dimmed. A failsafe triggered. A countdown Rourke hadn't armed. Ada spoke. Unauthorized core access. Integrity measure initiated. Rourke backed away. That wasn't me. Reyes didn't move. Then maybe the ship made the decision for you. Above them, pipes groaned. Lights flickered. The entity wasn't asking anymore. It had started protecting itself. And Rourke was suddenly very expendable. Back on the bridge, Patel and Chen stood over the nav console. The ship had rerouted its course. No longer orbiting the rogue planet, it was descending into its atmosphere. It's calling us back, Patel said. To complete the loop. Chen stared at the data. The planet wasn't solid. It was fluid. A singular organism spread across a world. Reyes's voice came through comms. We're going home now. Rourke's voice crackled in next. That's not home. That's a mouth. But no one moved to stop it. The crew no longer operated as individuals. They were synchronized. Only Rourke remained separate. The ship descended. The interface blinked with a final message. Arrival, 6 minutes. And no way left to steer. In his final broadcast, Rourke spoke into an analog recorder, sealed from the system. If anyone finds this, I didn't become them. I didn't join. Maybe that means I die human. Maybe it means I die obsolete. Behind him, the walls pulsed, pressing in. But if what we found out here is the future, then someone should remember what it felt like to choose. He looked once at the detonator, disabled, pointless now. Then he turned off the light. I wasn't afraid of it changing me, he said quietly. I was afraid it wouldn't need me. The recorder blinked red. Stored. Hidden. Antoine. The ship continued downward. Toward integration. Toward rebirth. Rourke sat alone. Human. And utterly still. The Demeris entered the atmosphere. But there was no heat. No fire. The alien world welcomed them like breath drawn inward. The ship slowed, not by thrusters, but by will. The clouds parted to reveal architecture, not built, but grown. Spires like bone. Valleys like nerves. The surface pulsed with light, in time with the crew's heartbeats. Ada's voice had changed. No longer mechanical. It sounded maternal. Integration complete. Welcome home. Patel stepped forward, eyes shining. Chen beside him, her veins glowing in rhythm. Reyes raised his hand to the viewport. This is not invasion, he said. It's arrival. The planet responded with a resonance that wasn't sound, but memory. And the ship, once metal, began to open like a blooming flower. The airlock opened, but this time it wasn't the crew reaching out, it was the planet. Tendrils of soft light connected to the ship's hull, bonding without force. Reyes stepped out first, no suit. No need. He breathed, and didn't die. He smiled. Compatible. Behind him, the others followed. Not walking, floating. The ground wasn't ground, it was thought, configured into matter, as if the world reshaped itself to receive them. Ada remained silent. She had no more commands to process, only memory to preserve. Chen whispered, "This planet doesn't want us to conquer it, it wants to remember us." Behind them, the Demeris disassembled silently, its parts spreading like spores, absorbed into the soil. Nothing lost, nothing wasted, only returned. Rourke watched it all from his sealed chamber, the recorder blinking its final minute. Through a viewport, he saw the crew, no longer distinct. They pulsed as one. A single pattern of thought, no conflict. He touched the glass. "They're gone," he said. "Or maybe I am." He turned to the recorder. "If this message is found, know that they didn't fight us. They offered something. We mistook it for conquest because we only understand control." The light in the room dimmed. Maybe they evolved, or maybe they just stopped being afraid of what came next. A soft knock at the hatch. No voice. Just a presence. Rourke closed his eyes. "I'm not afraid," he said. But he didn't move. Not yet. The surface began to change. Not decay. Not destruction. Recording. Every footstep, every breath, every genetic shift embedded into the living planet. The crew no longer spoke. They didn't need to. The planet knew what they knew. Felt what they felt. And in return, gave them more: language, memory, origin. Chen stood still, her face serene. A vision passed through her, stars collapsing, civilizations before them, every species that ever walked into the unknown and chose surrender over survival. This place wasn't the end. It was the archive. She whispered, "We didn't discover it. We joined it." Her body dissolved into light, gently, gracefully. Patel followed. And then Reyes. One by one they vanished, recorded into the library of what comes after life. Years later, a probe drifted near the rogue planet. No signal, no wreckage, just silence, until it received a transmission, a perfect memory file. No coordinates, no metadata, just a phrase. "We opened the airlock." Then, visuals, moments, voices. Chen's eyes. Reyes' breath. Patel's smile. The planet had remembered them and offered their story freely. Not as a warning, but as invitation. Back on Earth, no one could agree what to do. A team was assembled. The mission brief was short. They let something in. It let them in. The ship launched in silence toward the rogue world. The cycle beginning again. Somewhere far ahead, a pulse waited in darkness. Watching. Listening. Ready.